Christmas season is upon us once again, and it's almost Draftmas Day. I'm Jeremy Greene of ESPN Radio Asheville and the Sportsocracy, and we'll be live from Marsh's Park in Detroit, covering Day 1 and Day 2 of the 2024 NFL Draft, live right here on YouTube. Click that subscribe button. You can see every bit of our content, all of the things as they happen, including the Washington Commanders. This is their A-plus mock draft. I've been doing these every year. Every year people come back and go, oh, I'm glad my team is not as stupid as you are. Oh, I wish my team had done some of the things you said. So let's go through it. We'll start right here at number 2. Caleb Williams is already off the board. I'm going exactly where I think they're going. Jayden Daniels, this is my number 1 quarterback in the class. I love how mobile he is. I love how accurate he is. I don't have a lot of knocks on him other than he is a little bit thin. Other than that, I think he's a ready-made prospect. I would have taken him at number 1 because I don't believe in Caleb Williams nearly as much as everybody else does. I think this is an A-plus pick for Washington right here with Jayden Daniels. Make that selection right there. We'll go down to 36. I'm using the list of players that they have had in the building, trying to build the perfect A-plus draft class for each team. I look at Washington. They've had a lot of offensive linemen in the building. They've had a lot of edge rushers in the building. I'm hoping somebody fell to me here. They really didn't seem to. I mean, you've got a ton of talent here, but nobody that I'm just jumping up and down to take. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm looking at – I was hoping an offensive tackle would be here. One does not seem to have fallen in my lap. I feel like it's too early for Jayden Sanders. I might be able to do that with my next pick. I hate to go corner here. I don't think that I'm going to. Let's just look and see what the offensive tackles look like that are on the board here. Kingsley Suamataia, Roger Rosengarten. I don't think they had either one of those in the building. But Kingsley Suamataia is looking really interesting to me. He's so raw. I may hold off at tackle and just see if I can find an edge here. It's too early on Adisa Isaac. Oof. It's a rough spot for Washington, especially when you have 2 picks. You know what? This is my A-plus mock draft, so I'm going to go off their board. I feel like Washington needs another weapon. There's still one on the board that I really like. I'm going Keon Coleman out of Florida State. This would be really ironic because one of his best games of the year was against Jayden Daniels in the first game of the year. Right here, you add him to Jahan Dotson, you add him to Terry McLaurin. That gives you 3 legit weapons. I'm still interested in Jayden Sanders. This is a little rich for my blood, so there's a great chance that I'm going to let him go past. But Keon Coleman gives you the big play threat. He didn't run as fast at the combine, but he was one of the fastest players at all positions in terms of how fast he was in the drills. He doesn't have the 40 speed, but I'm telling you, as a lifelong Florida State fan, I watched him all year long. This kid is special, and this would give you another target for Jayden Daniels. Right here at number 36, Keon Coleman from Florida State. Drop down here to 40. I feel like I could trade out of this pick and probably be in better shape. A lot of teams have offered. Still got 2 quarterbacks on the board. Who took the quarterbacks earlier? Okay, so Minnesota got one. The Raiders don't have one. The Broncos don't have one. I'll bet you I could get a deal done with Denver. I bet Denver would be willing to come off. There they are. I could add 76 and a second rounder next year with 121. I'll bet you. Yep, that's exactly what I wanted. That allows me to drop down. So now I pick at 67, 76. That's right in the meaty clackers of exactly where I want to be. I love that trade for Washington because there's not a ton of players that I was absolutely in love with right there. But now I have 4 third-round picks, which is exactly what I want to do because I think that's the best, the sweet spot of this draft. All right, at 67, I'm looking offensive tackle. I've got a bunch of guys that are still here. This is one that I know they've had in the building. He's been really popular in the I don't love this kid as much as I love others, but he's been in the building. I'm going Brandon Coleman 6'6", 320-pound offensive tackle out of TCU. He's been a real big high riser, fast riser here in the last bit of the process. I probably would have gone Patrick Paul, but in the effort of realness, they haven't had Paul in the building. They did have Coleman in the building, so I'll take him right there. Okay, I've added the wide receiver. I've added the quarterback. I would like to have a tight end. I don't really think there's one that belongs here. It's a little early on Senate. I don't have to do that yet. So here I can look to just best player available. I still really want to find an edge rusher. And I'm going to be honest with you. There's one here that I think pairs really nicely with what they already have. It's Xavier Thomas out of Clemson. This kid didn't get as much love because that Clemson defense was really, really disappointing. Like I said, I am a lifelong Florida State fan, so I actually got to see this kid up close and personal in Death Valley this year. He is a little older, yes, as you can see PFF says right there. He's already 24 years old, but he is super athletic, and I think he can be a phenomenal pass rusher at the next level. He's super underrated. I'm a little shocked PFF had him as high in their software as they did. So right there, I go Xavier Thomas to the Washington Commanders. Now, I still need to add on the offensive line. Let's see if there's a guard. Oh, that's going to be hard for me to turn down. This is going to say this is early. I bet you I could still get him. I wonder if there's a corner around here somewhere. Or do I just take Alex Hunt and be done with it? You know what? That's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to add another edge rusher. Look, I love Xavier Thomas, and I think the combination of him and Alex Hunt gives you exactly what you need for the long haul. Alex Hunt is one of the most popular players in this draft process. He started as a safety at Cornell. He wound up as an edge rusher. He's a gigantic human at 6'4", almost 250 pounds, insanely fast. I think this would be A-plus start for Washington. I can drop down. There's still a lot of interior offensive linemen left that I don't think I have to take right now. So right here, I'm going to take Alex Hunt. I still have 5 picks left. I feel like I've already been doing this for an hour, and I still have 5 picks left. Okay, all 3 of the guys that I was interested in before are still here. I like Cooper Beebe, but not as much as I like this kid. Christian Mahogany, offensive guard out of Boston College. Just a huge run grader, 6'3", 322. Got to see him up close and personal with Florida State last year. He is a stereotypical hog molly, old school pig, hogs, Washington Redskins kind of guard. And I just love the disposition this kid has. He would be an absolute steal right here at the end of the third round, and I feel like I am crushing it for Washington. If you've liked this so far, be sure to click that subscribe button so you'll be able to see all of our content. We'll be doing these for every team. They're coming out in the next 3 days. We're just churning through them. I'm actually probably in the air right as this is coming out to get to Detroit for the draft. 121 here. I've still got 3 picks left. I want to add a secondary player somewhere. I can't bypass this guy. I don't really want to. Sione Vaki, safety out of Utah. He played running back at Utah. He played safety at Utah. This kid's still really young, only 2 years of college experience in terms of playing at the collegiate level. He still hasn't even figured out what position he plays, and he's already worth a pick this high. 6 foot, 210, great instincts. And I was told by one of his coaches at the Senior Bowl, his best position was at slot receiver. He's just a damn football player, and I absolutely love adding him right here for the Washington Commanders. I still need a corner, but they're so invested in corner, it's hard for me to use more draft capital on another corner. Okay. I feel like I have to take a tight end here at some point. I hate this tight end class. This is good value right here at 139. Theo Johnson, this kid blew up the combine. He just didn't have the production at Penn State, which I think this actually makes more sense than where I have seen him placed. He's 6'6", 260, super, super raw, but he's got all of the intangibles. He's got all the pieces that you could ever want for a really high-end tight end. Then he killed it with it. He's an RAS monster. I think he comes in and starts if not right away, pretty damn soon for Washington. That gives me another target. This is a kid that can grow with Jayden Daniels. Now I've got 2 luxury picks left, one at 152, one at 222. I still want a linebacker. Damn, that's tempting. I want a linebacker, but I feel like there's more of those left than, there are guys that I can get later. There are guys I can get later at linebacker because the value's just too good here. Cam Hart, cornerback out of Notre Dame. He started as a wide receiver. He is raw. I'm not going to lie to you. He is raw, but he's 6'2", closer to 6'3", has all the pieces that you could ever want. You're just got to be patient. The quick twitch is there. I think all the technique is there. He just has to get better as time goes on and get more reps and get more comfortable playing corner as opposed to where he started at wide receiver. I think this is as good a draft as you could possibly ever have for Washington, and I've still got 1 pick left. I really want this to be a linebacker, if at all possible. Okay. Not necessarily the linebackers I was hoping would fall to me here, but there is one, and that was what I thought, is that I knew I was going to get one of them somewhere. Nathaniel Watson, Boogie Watson out of Mississippi State, old school kind of linebacker. He is not great in pass coverage, but he's an absolute thumper against the run. I think he's a nice compliment to Jamin Davis, and that gives me the absolute cherry on top of the sundae as I build out the draft class. Washington, if that's not an A+, I don't know what an A+ looks like. I'll let PFF grade it, and I'll go with whatever they say. But if that's not an A+, they don't exist. Let's see. They gave that a B+, which is, to me, absolutely 100% insane. B- on Jayden Daniels, which brings the grade down off the rip. Keon Coleman, they gave a C+. They actually didn't give me an A on any other pick outside of Theo Johnson. That is insane. In the comments, let me know how you feel about this if you're a Washington Commanders fan. I think this would be the draft that turned things around for this Washington franchise and would put you on the right path moving forward. Let me know in the comments. Throw your mock drafts in the comments. I'll get to as many of them as I can. And join us live from the 2024 NFL Draft in Marsh's Park, Detroit, Michigan for day 1 and 2 right here on YouTube.